A battery that could cut your electric bill in half, and it's not lithium. You've heard of lithium batteries your whole life. They're in your phone, they're in your laptop. If you have an electric car, there's a lithium battery under the floor. If you have a home energy storage system, it's almost certainly lithium. Lithium-ion batteries won the battery wars in the 1990s and have dominated every portable energy application ever since. But there is a problem with lithium. A growing, unavoidable, increasingly expensive problem. And the solution to that problem is so simple, so abundant, so utterly ordinary that when you hear what it is, your first reaction is probably going to be that I'm joking. The solution to the lithium battery problem is salt, actual, common, everyday sodium. The same stuff in your kitchen cabinet, the same element that makes ocean water taste like ocean water. Sodium is literally the 6th most abundant element on Earth. And right now, in 2026, the world's largest battery manufacturer has figured out how to use it to make a battery that's cheaper, safer, and in some ways better than lithium. And the first cars powered by this technology are already rolling off production lines and showing up at dealerships. This is one of the most significant shifts in energy technology in decades. And because it doesn't have a flashy name or a famous CEO attached to it, almost nobody in the general public is paying attention. Today, we fix that. Let's start with why lithium has a problem, because that's the foundation of everything else. When you charge a lithium battery, lithium ions move from one side of the battery to the other and store energy in the process. When you use the battery, they move back and release that energy. It's a remarkably elegant system that works billions of times in batteries all over the world every single day. But here's the thing about lithium, it's not actually that abundant. The world's lithium reserves are concentrated in a relatively small number of places. About half of the world's known lithium is in the salt flats of Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia, collectively called the Lithium Triangle. Australia has significant hard rock lithium deposits. China has invested heavily in controlling lithium supplies across multiple countries. The United States has very limited domestic lithium production. When EV sales were a small fraction of the overall car market, this wasn't a crisis. The demand for lithium was manageable. But as EV sales have ramped up dramatically, as utilities have started building massive grid-scale battery storage facilities, as every phone and laptop and power tool in the world keeps running on lithium, the strain on the supply chain has become very real. Lithium prices went through a wild boom and bust cycle in the early 2020s. They spiked to extraordinary highs as EV manufacturers scrambled to secure supply, then crashed as new mining operations came online, then started rising again as demand outpaced production. The volatility alone is a massive problem for car manufacturers trying to plan production years in advance. And then there are the mining concerns. Lithium mining, whether from hard rock or from brine evaporation in salt flats, is an environmentally intensive process. The brine evaporation method used in South America requires enormous amounts of water in regions that are already water-stressed. The communities near these operations have raised serious concerns about the impact on local water supplies and ecosystems. None of this is to say that lithium batteries are bad. They're not. They've been transformative, but the supply chain is fragile, the environmental footprint is significant, and the price is volatile, in ways that ripple through to consumers. Now enter sodium. Sodium-ion batteries work on the exact same basic principle as lithium-ion batteries. Ions shuttle back and forth between electrodes, storing and releasing energy. The chemistry is similar enough that manufacturers can use much of the same equipment and manufacturing processes they already use for lithium batteries. The transition is not starting from scratch. It's more like swapping one ingredient for another in a recipe you already know how to make. But the advantages of that ingredient swap are significant. Sodium is approximately 1,000 times more abundant than lithium. It's essentially everywhere. You can extract it from seawater. You can get it from common minerals found all over the planet. There is no sodium triangle that controls the world's supply. There's no geopolitical choke point. The raw material cost for sodium is a tiny fraction of the cost of lithium. When you're talking about batteries at the scale needed for millions of EVs and massive grid storage projects, that raw material cost difference matters enormously. Early estimates suggest sodium-ion batteries could be 25 to 30% cheaper than the most common lithium chemistry currently used in EVs and grid storage, once production scales up fully. That's not a minor efficiency gain. That's the kind of cost reduction that fundamentally changes who can afford these technologies. Sodium-ion batteries also have some performance advantages that are genuinely significant for specific applications. The one that matters most for people who live in cold climates is temperature performance. Lithium-ion batteries lose a significant chunk of their range in cold weather. If you've driven an EV in a northern winter, you've experienced this. The range estimate that says 300 miles in good conditions might give you 200 miles or less when it's below freezing. This is one of the most common complaints about EVs and one of the biggest barriers to adoption in cold weather states. Sodium-ion batteries perform dramatically better in extreme cold. The chemistry is inherently more stable at low temperatures. In testing, sodium-ion cells have maintained reliable performance at temperatures as low as -40 degrees Fahrenheit. For someone living in Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, upstate New York, or anywhere in Canada, that is not a small detail. That's potentially the difference between an EV being practical for your life or not. Sodium-ion batteries also have superior thermal stability, which is a technical way of saying they're less likely to overheat or catch fire. Lithium-ion batteries, particularly certain chemistries, can enter a condition called thermal runaway, where a chain reaction of heat causes the battery to catch fire or even explode. This is rare but real, and it has caused some high-profile EV fires that got a lot of media coverage. Sodium-ion batteries have a significantly reduced risk of this kind of failure. For home energy storage systems that sit in people's garages, this is a meaningful safety improvement. Now let's talk about what's actually on the market right now, because this isn't just theory. In February 2026, the Chinese automaker Changan and battery manufacturer CATL jointly unveiled and began delivering the Changan Nevo A06. This is the world's first mass-produced passenger vehicle powered by a sodium-ion battery. The battery in this car, which CATL calls the Naxtra, delivers up to 175 watt-hours per kilogram of energy density and is claimed to provide up to 500 kilometers of range in next-generation configurations. CATL is the world's largest battery manufacturer. They make batteries for Tesla, BMW, Volkswagen, Ford, and dozens of other automakers. When CATL goes all in on a new battery chemistry, the rest of the industry pays attention. CATL launched an entire sodium-ion product line called Naxtra in 2025 and is extending it to additional passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles throughout 2026. BYD, the second largest battery manufacturer and one of the largest EV makers in the world, has also been developing sodium-ion technology and is expected to release products using it. In China, the sodium-ion market is already moving fast. The scooter manufacturer Yadea launched 4 models of two-wheelers powered by sodium-ion batteries in 2025. Cities including Shenzhen have started piloting battery swapping stations for sodium-ion batteries specifically to support delivery drivers and commuters who rely on electric scooters. For the tens of millions of people in China who use electric two-wheelers for daily transportation, sodium-ion batteries are already a real option. In the United States, the adoption curve is behind China, but moving. A startup called Peak Energy is deploying grid-scale sodium-ion energy storage systems. Natron Energy has sodium-ion battery products for data centers and industrial backup power. The US Department of Energy has flagged sodium-ion as a priority technology for domestic manufacturing investment. The global market for sodium-ion batteries was valued at around $2.5 billion in 2026 and is expected to grow dramatically throughout the decade. Multiple analysts project the market hitting somewhere between $5 and $30 billion by the early 2030s, depending on how fast production scales and how quickly adoption spreads beyond China. Now let's talk honestly about the limitations, because there are some real ones, and it wouldn't be fair to leave those out. The most significant limitation is energy density. Sodium-ion batteries currently store less energy per unit of weight than the best lithium-ion batteries. Current sodium-ion cells average around 150 watt-hours per kilogram compared to about 265 watt-hours per kilogram for high-end lithium-ion. What that means in practice is that for the same amount of energy storage, a sodium-ion battery is heavier and larger than a lithium-ion one. For phones and laptops where size and weight are critical, this is a real problem. Sodium-ion is probably not going to power your next smartphone. For a car that's already a few thousand pounds, the weight difference matters somewhat but is more manageable. For a grid-scale storage installation sitting in a field, weight basically doesn't matter at all. The specific applications where sodium-ion makes the most sense are the ones where energy density is less critical than cost, safety, and cold weather performance. The other limitation is that the technology, while advancing fast, is still maturing. The cycle life of sodium-ion batteries, meaning how many charge and discharge cycles they can handle before their capacity degrades significantly, is improving, but in some applications still lags behind the best lithium chemistries. Researchers are actively working on this and the gap is narrowing, but it's worth acknowledging. The honest assessment is that sodium-ion is not going to replace lithium-ion for every application. It's going to complement it. Just like different grades of steel or different types of concrete are used for different construction applications, different battery chemistries will dominate different use cases. For short-range and mid-range EVs, where absolute maximum range isn't the priority, sodium-ion could be a transformative cost reducer. For grid-scale energy storage, it's potentially a game-changer because cost and safety matter far more than energy density at that scale. For home batteries in northern climates, the cold weather performance advantage makes sodium-ion an increasingly compelling option. So what does all of this mean for you as a regular person? In the near term, it means the cost of EVs and home energy storage systems is going to come down faster than most people expect. When battery costs fall, EV prices fall. When home battery costs fall, solar plus storage becomes accessible to households that couldn't justify the investment before. The competitive pressure from sodium-ion technology is going to force prices down across the entire battery market, including lithium batteries. In the medium term, it means the supply chain vulnerability that has made battery costs volatile is going to diminish. When your battery is made from salt instead of a rare material controlled by a handful of countries, the geopolitical risk goes down significantly. And in the long term, it means the energy storage revolution that the world needs to make renewable energy work at scale becomes significantly more achievable. The biggest challenge with solar and wind power is that they're intermittent. The sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always blow. Battery storage is what turns intermittent renewable energy into reliable power. And if battery storage gets dramatically cheaper and safer because of sodium-ion technology, the pace of the energy transition accelerates. This is a technology that the average person has never heard of. Most people couldn't tell you what sodium-ion means, but the decisions being made right now by the world's largest battery manufacturers are going to shape what your next car costs, what your electricity bill looks like, and how the energy grid operates for decades to come. The battery in your phone changed the world. The sodium battery is next. If you want to understand the technologies that are quietly reshaping how energy, transportation, and everyday life work, subscribe and stick around. In the next video, we're going to talk about something you've definitely heard of, but probably underestimated: smart glasses. We're going to look at what's actually available in 2026, what the real honest numbers are on battery life and what these things can do, and whether any of them are actually worth buying yet. That one is coming up next.